All right, so we did our diversity handbook on Nike. I'm Thomas.
I'm Amante.
I'm Dylan.
I'm Morgan.
I'm Lauren.
So Nike used to be called Blue Ribbon Sports. It was founded in 1964 by Bill Bowerman and his former student Phil Knight. They changed their name to Nike in 1971. They sell many different types of sports equipment, devices, clothing, shoes, etc. for basically like every sport. They sponsor many professional athletes, and they went public in 1980, and they currently lead the footwear and accessories industry. They have grown tremendously and had an increase of over 100% in their net income in 2019, so they keep growing. Nike's business strategy, they try to focus mostly on the marketing. They sponsor professional athletes to endorse their products. They use emotional pulls to attract customers. They advertise heroism to inspire everybody to be their own hero. They try to inspire people to get involved and accomplish all of their goals. They offer products for virtually all types of physical activity, so their customer pool just grows. They try to stay on top of new technology and create new products to stay on top of the market.
Nike's diversity strategy. Innovation is key to Nike's success. Nike is committed to an environment focused on respect, equality, inclusion, and empowerment. Nike's diversity strategy is to increase representation of women globally and underrepresented groups. Such groups include American Indian, Alaskan Native, Asian, Black or African American, Latino, Native Hawaiian, or other Pacific Islanders.
The goals of the Diversity Handbook: accepting and understanding diversity and equity, overcome race, gender, social class, and sexual orientation barriers, push for more women to be put in larger roles in the organization, propose more jobs and opportunities for diverse people, and work to defeat the unconscious biases.
All right, so the cultural background, Nike's cultural background bases off of three main points. Talent being the first one. Nike's main goal with the talent is to stay as one of the top producers of athletic wear and equipment. The second one is diversity, and Nike builds off their developing diversity workforce, which includes innovation, creativity, and brand image. And it also helps with I lost it. And the third one is inclusive. There are no barriers between employees at Nike, which maximizes performance through a team-based management system. So the legal framework, Nike has a very high standards for their employees, hence why the Asian culture is not highly employed by Nike. The Asian people were forced to work over 60 hours a week, were treated poorly, and they were paid under minimum wage. Nike's reaction to this was by joining the Fair Labor Associations, and the Native Hawaiian / Pacific Islanders have a disadvantage in working for Nike because 31.2% of the race is under the age of 18, and it's harder for them to get a job, thus lowering the employment rate. Nike is equally inclusive to all races, genders, and ages, etc. They are willing to lose sales just to show they do not discriminate. For example, when Colin Kaepernick started kneeling during the national anthem, Nike still stood behind him and endorsed him. And even though they lost sales, they still stuck behind their decision.
Labor market characteristics. The highest labor force participation groups, number one is Native Hawaiian or Pacific Islanders at 68.8%. And then two or more races at 66.6%. And then right below that, there's Hispanic and Latino at number 3 at 66.3%. The lowest labor force participation groups, there's number 1, American Indian and Alaskan Native at 59.6%. And then the next one would be Black or African American at 62.3%. For highest unemployment rate by race, number one is, again, Native Hawaiian Pacific Islanders with 6.6%. And then number two, Black or African American at 6.5%. And then the lowest unemployment rate by race is Asians at 3.0%. And then there's just charts on the side showing all the races. And then continued unemployment rate for Asians, 4.1% relative to the 10,486 civilians in the labor force. And for Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islanders, it's 4.4% relative to their labor force.
So some barriers to inclusiveness would be location, transportation, and education. For location, if the excluded groups live in an area that is unprofitable for Nike, it's just unreasonable for them to put a store in there. But what Nike can do is hire more diverse groups in the profitable areas. Transportation, if it's a poor area, people may not be able to afford cars or other modes of transportation. Not all areas offer public transportation, so that's eliminating some opportunities for people to get a job. Nike could provide buses or pick employees up that would create more opportunities. And for education, if a person did not have access to school, they could lack certain qualities required to work at Nike. Nike could provide training programs and classes for these people to have better shots at working with them.
Diversity strategy and current practices. Nike currently has 8 employee networks, which is known as Nike United. The Ability Network fuels a community that empowers athletes of all abilities to create a Nike without limitations. Ascend Network and Friends strengthens and celebrates Nike's diverse cultures and creates an inclusive environment at Nike. Black Employee Network and Friends promotes an environment at Nike that maximizes the contribution, engagement, and success of all Black employees. Latino and Friends Network, they have leverages at Nike's unique skills and contributions to create opportunities for professional success and infusing heritage. Native American Network and Friends is a catalyst for growth and change at Nike by providing authentic Native American experience in the workplace. Nike Military Veterans and Friends exists to enhance Nike's experience as well as awareness and support for the issues important to the veteran. Pride Network focuses on awareness of lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender issues and organizational partnerships supporting these athletes. Last is Woman of Nike Friends, which unleashes the power and potential of Nike by empowering all women. Nike is committed to promoting an inclusive culture where all employees have the opportunity to realize their goals.
New policies, programs, benefits, organizational changes. Mandatory diversity and unconscious bias training for employees and managers at stores. More offers for women to be on the board at Nike. Hosting annual party for employees of Nike all over the world. This will help spread diversity among employees coming from different stores, but working for the same company. Transferring all job descriptions to gender-neutral language like them or they. Blind screenings will also help to unconscious bias in resume reviews, and placing posters in stores that describe how employees can and should contribute to an inclusive workplace.
So some of the costs that are included in our ideas is building new stores to increase worker diversity. Building the stores alone are pricey, and then hiring the new employees is even more pricey. Having diversity training, that would come from HR, which would be free to the employees, but they would actually have to send the HR representatives to a school to properly teach the subject, which also costs money. Having an annual company party, That would include venue, food, drinks, entertainment. I mean, professional sporting event, amusement park, food and drinks. Sometimes it's provided, sometimes it's not, but it's still really expensive regardless. But in reality, all of these are minimal costs for the potential positive outcomes.
For benefits, opening more job opportunities for diversity opens many benefits. For non-monetary benefits, opening more job opportunities for diversity is one. Mandatory diversity and unconscious bias training, blind screenings to help prevent the unconscious bias in the resume reviews. And then for the monetary benefits, requiring managers of stores to schedule team bonding activities throughout the day. It leads to a happier staff and happier clients, which then brings money into the company.